Hello everyone, my name's Jean de Cruz. Welcome to this introduction to meditation series from the Tibetan Buddhist Society. This class is the second of a 5-week series, and in this course I'll focus on meditations and Buddhist mindsets for relaxations. So I'll share some perspectives for daily life, guide you through some meditations that hopefully you can then do at home. So the format for these classes is, first I'll do a talk to give you an overall explanation, give you some tools to help you with more relaxation. Then we'll do some guided meditation, then have times for questions at the end using the chat. So what's meditation? So meditation is defined as thoroughly and deeply acquainting the mind with positive states of mind. And positive states of mind are by nature happy and also a source of future happiness. So that means that each time you meditate, you are in fact bringing more and more happiness into your life. And there are three different types of meditation. There's stabilizing meditation or single-pointed meditation. There's analytical meditation, and there's visualization meditation. So stabilizing meditation is where you focus single-pointedly on one object. Analytical meditation is where you move through an analysis to come to a clear conclusion. And visualization meditation is where we use our imagination or our visualization to generate states of mind more intuitively. Today, I'd like to talk about stabilizing meditation, and we'll practice this. And over the next few weeks, we'll look at and practice the other types of meditation. So stabilizing meditation is useful for us in our everyday life, because our uncomfortable or harmful states of minds depend on agitation. So our anger, our worry, our stress depend on agitation. And we experience agitation every day, not just when we're meditating. When we're agitated, this affects our ability to relax. It affects our ability to make good judgments. It can affect our relationships. It can even affect our health. But when you start to strengthen and develop your concentration, what happens is you start to have a clearer mind, a more relaxed mind, a more focused mind. And when you do this, your mind becomes more settled. And when you have a foundation of a settled mind, it makes it more difficult for the harmful, negative states of minds to arise. The second way that stabilizing meditation is useful to us is it helps us develop and increase our happy minds, our positive minds, and also to recognize and reduce the harmful negative minds. At present, if we don't have some level of good concentration, our minds get easily distracted. It's hard for us to meditate properly because our minds are wandering off continuously. Also, our states of mind change continuously. One moment we're happy, the next moment we're sad or we're angry. But when we start to develop our concentration, our mind then starts to become still, becomes peaceful, becomes clear and focused. Any qualities of mind that we're trying to develop, we can attain more easily because we can remain more focused on the object that we choose. So at the moment, if we want to focus on a positive quality of mind, we have many distractions. But if we have better concentration, then we can meditate on developing qualities like kindness, like compassion, like patience, because we can focus more deeply on them when we have good concentration. So stabilizing meditation, we're focusing single-pointedly on one object. So this means that you are paying attention to the one thing that you are meditating on. So paying attention means being present. You can only pay attention in the present moment. So the thing that you're training and developing is your attention. And it's not something that we're normally trained to do in this way. But attention is an aspect of ourselves that we actually take for granted. It's always there. But by changing the quality of our attention through meditation, this then creates a lasting change in your life. As your attention improves, your experience of life improves. What that means is you become stiller. So generally, our minds move from one thing to another. We have repeating thoughts. We're continuously ruminating about the past. We're fantasizing about the future. So generally, our minds are being busy, going from one thought to another. But when we start to pay attention, then this process starts to relax. Now, it is difficult to pay attention only to one thing. But with practice, your attention, you train your attention to develop in ways that it hasn't done before. So to train it, what you are doing, you're also learning a new response of letting go. So to pay attention, you have to practice letting go of thoughts and feelings as they arise. Being practiced in this then gives you more freedom. So you can let go more easily of thoughts and feelings to then choose how you want to respond. The other thing we tend to have is mental gossip. Our minds continuously move from one thought to another. Mostly there's a negative tone to it. There's a tension to it. But when you start to practice stabilizing meditation, you'll start to find a reduction in these negative agitated states and the uncomfortable emotions that actually arise from a mind that's too busy. So the more stabilized you are, then peace and deep relaxation arise from that stillness. Stabilizing meditation also gives us mental space. We have a tendency to overthink things, especially if we have a problem or if there's some stress. In our busy lives, especially lately, or in our work, there's always some stress. It's easy to lose our perspective. But with stabilizing meditation, we get some mental space. And from that, we get a better perspective. Because what we're doing when we're meditating is we're trying to focus only on one object, let go of everything else. This gives us mental space. Then when we have a problem and we come back to trying to work out the problem, we have a better perspective. And in fact, sometimes the solution just comes to us when we're not thinking about the problem. We've all experienced this. Stabilizing meditation also gives us more control, more stability, because we tend to respond to situations reactively. It's easy if someone criticizes us for us to get angry. We see someone with better conditions, we tend to get jealous. We see something beautiful, we grasp after it, we want to possess it. But actually we're better without these automatic uncomfortable reactions. When you practice single-pointed meditation, you reduce this reactivity. It's like there's more space because the mind is in the present moment. You experience emotions arising, but there's some flexibility. And so you then start to have some choice in how you respond. So you can replace anger with patience. Somebody's being difficult, instead of just being angry, you can respond with patience. You can replace a jealous response with rejoicing in somebody else's good conditions. You can replace grasping and attachment with appreciation of the beautiful thing without wanting to possess it. Then also with stabilizing meditation, we develop our awareness. So when we're meditating, most of our attention is on the thing or the object that we want to focus on. But a small part of our mind is watching. so that we know that when we lose our concentration, we know we've lost our concentration and we can come back to the object that we're trying to focus on. If we don't have a small part of our mind watching, then when we lose our concentration, we won't even realize we've lost our concentration. We'll go off on a tangent, we'll become totally distracted. So this awareness of this small watching part of our mind allows us to understand our mind. We see how our mind works. Where does it tend to go off to? What is upsetting us? What's our main negative mind? We all have the negative minds. We all have some anger, some grasping, some jealousy, some conceit. But most of us have one or two that are our main issue. We learn to identify what that is. We learn to see what is it that makes us happy and so on. So practicing stabilizing meditation allows us to understand ourselves. Then when we practice stabilizing meditation, our mental clarity develops. And when we do this, and how we do this is by overcoming any dullness that we feel. And when we overcome dullness and our minds get more clear, then we get a clear view of anything that we decide to focus on. So then once we've trained our mind on single-pointed concentration, we can then direct our mind with great strength to know anything that we want to know, to meditate on, anything that we want to think about. So this is what happens. This is what happens when we start to develop our single-pointed concentration or stabilizing meditation. So with stabilizing meditation, we're focusing on single-pointedly on an object, but there are obstacles to our concentrating. The first obstacle is dullness. So this is where our mind is heavy and it's not clear. It stops us from focusing clearly and strongly on our object of meditation. The second obstacle is agitation. So this is where our mind is busy and distracted. So with dullness, the more we practice stabilizing meditation, the more we overcome it. So dullness interrupts our concentration because our mind is heavy. The object that we're trying to focus on is unclear. So what's happening here with dullness is our mind withdraws or relaxes too much. We become heavy, we become sleepy. So how we overcome this heavy, dull mind is by mental alertness and by heightening our awareness. So that's the part of the mind that's watching. So when the part of the mind that's watching realizes we're becoming a bit dull and heavy, then it starts to apply the opponents to this dull, heavy mind. So how do we oppose or overcome dullness? So when we first notice that our mind's getting a bit heavy and dull, we simply tighten our concentration. We just squeeze our concentration a little bit more. We give it a bit more energy. We have to be careful not to tighten it too much, because if we tighten it too much, then it leads to agitation and distraction. But if our concentration is too loose, then this leads to dullness. So our concentration is actually a continuous balance between tightening it and loosening it. So this is the first thing that we do when we notice we're getting dull and heavy. We tighten our concentration a little bit. Then if this doesn't work and we're still feeling a bit heavy and dull, then what we do is we try to make the object that we're focusing on a bit more intense. So with dullness, our mind's a bit too withdrawn. So we try to extend the object that we're focusing on. We expand it, we increase its brilliance, we focus on the details. So this can help us overcome our dullness. This is the second method that we try. Then if this still doesn't work, we're still feeling a bit heavy and dull, then what we need to do is to lighten our mind. So with dullness, our mind sinks. It's a bit heavy, it's a bit unhappy, it's a bit down. So what we need to do here is to lift our mind. We need to make it light, we need to make it joyful. So in that case, you release your concentration from the object that you're focusing on, and instead reflect for a little while about things that make you happy. So think about the good things that other people do. Think about the good things that you've done, or feel grateful for all the goodness in your life. So then when your mind feels happy and bright and awake again, then resume your concentration. If this still doesn't work and your mind's still feeling heavy and dull, then you may need to take a break from your meditation. So get up, go for a walk, splash water on your face, look at a long distance. Then when you feel refreshed, then come back to your meditation. So these are the things that we can practice to overcome a heavy, dull mind. Then the second obstacle to our concentration is agitation. So agitation interrupts our concentration by leading our mind away from what we're trying to put our awareness on. So when we're meditating, we're directing our attention onto something. This is the object of our meditation. Anything that's appearing to our awareness is the object of our attention. So distraction is when we're taken away from focusing on this object of our meditation. A particular type of distraction is excitement. So distraction is whatever thoughts are taking us away from our meditation. But excitement is a particular type of distraction where we're particularly attracted to that object. So we can be distracted from our concentration by something that's not pleasant. For example, we can be distracted by thinking about someone that we're not happy with. If we're not attracted to that, then it's not excitement. We can also be distracted by something positive, by remembering an act of generosity, for example. It's a positive action, so it's not the negative mind of attachment, and so it's not excitement. Excitement is the most problematic form of distraction because other distractions tend to be shorter and easier to control. It's easier to let go of thinking of someone that you're not happy with, or it's easier to let go of a positive action that you've done. But for something that we're excited about or that we're attracted to, it's very difficult to let go because we have a strong urge to enjoy attractive objects. With attractive objects, our minds tend to stick to them. It's very hard to separate our mind from something that we're attracted to. So that's why we need to be very wary of excitement, of being attracted to something. It's hard to let go of it. And so it's a very strong obstacle to our concentration. When we have gross excitement, we've completely lost the object of concentration. When we have subtle excitement, we've still got the object of concentration there, but part of our mind has gone to the attractive objects. So it's like water moving below a layer of ice. So you've still got the concentration, but part of your mind has gone off onto this attractive object. So how do we overcome this agitation? The first thing is to loosen your concentration. If you're holding your concentration too tightly, this leads to excitement. So the first thing is just let go, loosen your concentration slightly. Then if this doesn't work, then because with excitement, our minds are a bit too high. So we need to bring our minds down a little bit, try to make our minds a bit sober. So think about a topic that's realistic and sobering. So not in a sense of that makes you unhappy, but just something that can reduce your excitement a little bit. For example, you can reflect on impermanence. So the fact of inevitable change, the fact that everything changes, disintegrates, doesn't last. So this helps to make our mind a bit more sober. So when your mind is more stable, then come back to focus on your object of meditation again. If this doesn't work, then you need to count your breath. So count 1 to 21, in and out, count 1, in and out, count 2, up to 21. But if you lose your concentration, then start again at 1. If you manage to get to 21, then keep counting until your mind becomes more stable. Then come back again to focus on your object of concentration. So this is the second method to try. If this still doesn't work and you're still very agitated and very excited, then you might need to take a break. You need to maybe tire yourself out a little bit with some physical activity. Then rest for a little while, and then come back again to your meditation. So the main thing when we're developing our concentration is that it needs to be neither too loose nor too tight. So we have a general awareness, but not an ongoing commentary. So in the beginning, settling our mind is the main issue. We're being distracted is our main problem when we first start. So what to do when we're distracted is notice that your mind has gone off, see where it's gone off to, gently bring your mind back to the object of concentration. The main thing is don't resist the distraction. If you resist it, you energize it. It makes it hard to let it go. If you become involved in it, again, it's hard to let go. If you forcefully reject it, again, you're giving it energy. It's hard to let go. So just notice that you've become distracted. See where you've gone off to. Gently let it go, and then come back again to the object of your concentration. And you keep coming back every time your attention wanders. And in fact, the mere effort of realizing you're distracted, letting go of it, and coming back to your concentration, this repeated effort of doing this is actually improving your concentration. So you might feel that most of your meditation session is you've lost the object and you're coming back to it. In fact, you are improving your concentration by just doing that. So through practice, we can improve our concentration, and so that our dullness and our agitation progressively reduce. And the things which make our mind more stable and more clear then start to strengthen. Our mind starts to get more settled, our meditation improves, and the more we do it, the better it gets. So what meditation does is it makes you more present, it makes you less agitated, because a lot of our painful, uncomfortable, tense, suffering minds come from agitation. So a less agitated state has less negative self-commentary. When you pay attention in a particular way on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally, what you're doing is you're nurturing greater awareness. So you're getting greater clarity and acceptance of this present moment's reality. So what we're doing in meditation is we're setting our mind on an object, we're releasing other things that arise, and we're returning the mind to that object. So we're letting go of the extraneous. So this is what we're doing with stabilizing meditation. Okay, so let's do some meditation now. And the object of our stabilizing meditation today is our breath. So to begin, sit cross-legged on a cushion or however comfortably that you can on a cushion. Or you can sit on a chair. The main thing is to have an upright, straight spine. Your head should be slightly bent forward, not too much. Place your right hand over your left, with your thumbs just touching and then resting in your lap. Your eyes should be half closed and loosely focused. If you find this too difficult, then you can close your eyes or have them very slightly open. Your mouth is closed and your jaw is relaxed. So we begin our meditation by setting a positive intention for our meditation practice. And you can do this by thinking, through this practice of meditation, may I achieve happiness, enjoyment, good conditions, and a calm, peaceful mind. I wish the same for all other beings. May all others also experience happiness, enjoyment, good conditions, and calm, peaceful minds. So begin to relax by putting aside all distracting thoughts. Let go of any worries, any problems, any issues. Let go of any plans for the future, memories of the past. Let go of thoughts of other people. Let go of your work, your business, and so on. So bring your attention inwards. And allow your mind to settle single-pointedly on the rising and falling of your breath. Breathe naturally, don't force your breath in any way. And then place your full awareness on your breath. Feel the gentle movement of the air against your nostrils, the slight movement of your chest and stomach. Place your attention on the whole process of the breath. To help you keep your awareness on the breath, there are a couple of methods you can try that might help you. First, you can think breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And this can help you to keep your mindfulness on the breath. second method that you can try to keep your concentration on the breath is as you breathe in and out, count 1. In and out, count 2. And so on until you reach 21. But if you lose your concentration part way, then start again at 1. If you reach 21 without losing your concentration, then keep counting. With breathing meditation, if you're finding that you tend to be a bit heavy and dull, you can mainly focus on the sensation of the breath as it passes through your nose. This helps to keep your mind a bit more light. However, if you find you're tending to be distracted and agitated, then focus mainly on the rising and falling of your belly. This helps to keep your mind more stable and settled. If you're distracted by other thoughts or by noises, strengthen your mindfulness and your collectedness by gently bringing your mind back to the breath. Each time that the distraction occurs, notice it, see where it's gone to, label it as just a distraction, let it go, and come back to the breath. Don't give it energy by being involved in the distraction. Don't forcefully reject it. Simply be aware of it, let it go, and it will pass. Come back to the breath. Be relaxed as a detached observer. If you find you're distracted by an attractive object, your mind's a bit excited and you're finding it hard to let go, just loosen your concentration a little bit. Then come back to the breath. If you're still distracted by excitement, by being attracted to an object, then you need to make your mind a bit more sober. Reflect on a sobering topic, for example, impermanence, the fact that everything changes. Then when your mind is more stable again, come back to the breath. If this still doesn't work, then count your breath. In and out, count 1, in and out, count 2, up to 21. But if you lose your concentration, start again at 1. When you get distracted, don't be upset that you are distracted. This is natural. Just be aware of it. See where it's gone to. Let it go. Come back to the breath. You also need to be alert for dullness, mental heaviness. Try to keep your mind light with vivid, clear-minded concentration. If you find your mind getting a bit heavy, tighten your concentration. Not too much, just a little. Give it a bit more energy. If this doesn't work, you're still a bit heavy and dull, then make the object of your concentration more intense. Focus on the details. Make it more brilliant, expand it. If your mind still feels heavy and dull, then you need to lighten your mind. With dullness, it's a sinking mind. It's a bit heavy, it's a bit down. So you need to lift your mind, make it light and joyful. So then you can focus on good things that other people do. Rejoice in your good actions. Feel grateful for the good things in your life. Then when your mind feels happy and bright and awake again, come back to concentrating on your breath. Remember, your concentration is a balance between squeezing too hard, trying too hard, which causes distraction. Relaxing too much causes dullness. So you need to tune your mind midway between these two, as if you're tuning a guitar. Your concentration needs to be clear, vivid, and strong, still relaxed and open. Feel your mind settle now, become still, like a very deep, tranquil lake. Then finally think whatever peace, tranquility that I've generated in this meditation, carry with me for at least the rest of the day, bringing this peace to every person I meet, every situation that I encounter. Okay, so what we're trying to do with meditation is to be more present. We tend to be caught up in the past, or we tend to be caught up with our imagining of future problems. What we need to be able to do is accept the present, because we're creating a tension by not accepting present reality. So we're filtering things through the way we think they should be, thinking things should be a particular way based on our expectations or based on other people's expectations. So when we're not accepting of the present as it is, we're creating frustration for ourselves. We're creating anger in relation to the present by resisting the reality of the present. So part of being present to the current situation is to accept it as it is. Now, this doesn't mean that we just accept things that are bad or that are painful or negative in the sense of unnecessary pain or wrong. It's more of an emotional relationship with the present. So there might be something going on that's wrong, and we can look at it and say it shouldn't be like this and be upset about it. Alternatively, we can accept that it's wrong and find a response to it. Given that it's wrong, how do I respond to it? What do I need to do? That's a different way of responding to this is wrong, this isn't the way it should be, this shouldn't be happening to me. So this is a commentary in itself, which is not helpful. So this is different. This is a different way of relating. So we're not trying to relate to things through a commentary that serves no purpose and in fact creates unnecessary suffering for ourselves. So for the practice of accepting the present, especially we start to do this with small difficulties, things that are a bit uncomfortable. We just try to accept them as they are. And then when we need to act or to do something, we can just do it out of that acceptance rather than from stressing about it. So how do we try to be present in the face of our problems? Because if we stress about them, we make them worse. You know, if we stress about a problem, then we've got the problem and we've got the suffering of the stress about it. So we want to try to be present in the way that we deal with problems. If we're not agitated, if we're not stressing, the present moment is often fine, or it's at least okay, you know, given even when we have difficulties in our life. Then we often find that our lives are made up of small enjoyments, and we can enjoy them if we are present to them. So even if we do have problems, we can still enjoy these small things so that we're not completely consumed by our problems. Then the other thing we need to do is try to be present to others. So for example, listening to people properly, listening mindfully, be present, truly present to them. You know, when someone is talking to us, not having your own commentary running continuously, or not wanting to control the conversation, or not being impatient because it's not about you. Because sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is just to listen to them. So how do we present and still have goals and motivations? You know, if we're not caught too much in the future, how do you have the motivation to do anything? So we need to accept we do need to have goals and directions, but it's about how you relate to them, doing what you can do in the present about those goals, really seeing the future as an expression of the present rather than just being caught up in the future. Okay, so we'll stop there. If you have any questions, you can ask them using the chat. For your meditation this week, then do this breathing meditation and try to use these methods that I've explained to you about, how to overcome your distraction, your agitation, and the methods for how to overcome any dullness or heaviness of mind. So that's your homework for this week. Do this breathing meditation. Hey, Nicola, nice to hear from you. Thanks, Anna. Okay, if you don't have any questions, we'll leave it there. Thanks for your attention, and I'll see you again next week.